All right, so let's talk about functions. So functions are one of the most powerful things in basic programming that you can do. All right, so functions are going to make you not only a better programmer, but a more efficient programmer. So remember, anytime you are asking or you're about to write something for the second time, you're about to type something for the second time or even the third time in your program, start thinking about making it into a function because it's inefficient to type something over and over, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So this are a lot of different steps that if I had the turtle library imported, and I'll just, let's go ahead and do that at the top just to see from turtle import everything. All right, so we've got the turtle library in, and this right here will draw a square, and then it will move inside the square and draw a tiny circle. All right, and I'm not going to prove that to you, but it will. Like if you want to copy and paste this and run it, you can. It would draw a big square, and then it's going to draw a little circle inside of it. But what if I wanted to draw, say, 3 squares and 3 circles? Well, I could move. I could put another command in here that maybe says to, go forward 100. All right, so that way I know that I'm kind of moving outside of where my first one was drawn. But am I gonna have to just copy and paste all of this code again? And I can. All right, so I could copy and paste all of this code again, and then again, and then again, maybe 4 times, and we could draw 4 squares with 4 circles. But that's not really the most efficient way. So a lot of times you're gonna want to use big blocks of code more than once, and the way you do that is by turning it into a function. All right, and the way we turn things into functions is by using this syntax right here. DEF, all right, will define the function. All right, then we're going to say draw square with circle. So this right here is just the name of my function. I could name this anything I wanted. I can even just name it Alex. All right, that's fine. If I want to name this Alex, then my function's name is Alex, and that may make it easier. All right, and remember, right here, you want to go ahead and put that function definition in, all right? So I'll just, let's say something about it. Draws a square and then a circle. All right, so that's what this does. All right, so there's my function definition. All right, so remember, don't confuse that with defining the function, as in like telling the computer what this function is, versus giving a function definition, which is more for the programmer. All right, so then now we have the same code that we just had, and the only difference is now is there's a little tab right there. All right, that's 4 spaces or the tab button that brings everything over. And remember, everything that's 4 spaces to the right, it knows is under this definition. All right, so now we have all of this saved in a definition, but it's still not going to do anything. So it's there, it's defined, but it's not going to do anything because we have to call this function first. So let's scroll down, and now let's see it actually called. So you have the function defined, then you have all the stuff that goes inside the function right here. Well, now we have to call the function by just simply putting the function's name with an open and close parentheses. And that will say, okay, computer, look for that function and then run what's under it. All right, so that's what we're doing right here. And then if we wanted to run it 3 times, rather than having to copy and paste all of this code, we'll just paste the function name 2 more times or 3 more times, and now this piece of code would draw that square and that circle 4 times. All right, so that's so much more efficient than trying to add all 15 or whatever of these lines of code and paste them 5 or 6 times. It's just going to get really long. All right, now another reason this is useful is, what if you want to make one small change to this code? What if I wanted to change this to, say, a 90? All right, or maybe let's say I wanted to maybe turn it 60 degrees rather than 90, but I don't want to have to use all of this again. I don't have to retype all of this. Well, that's where arguments come into play. All right, so I'll show you what an argument looks like. So now I have replaced the wall size of my square, or the length of the the arms of my square, with X. So now I can specify what length I want those when I call the definition. So instead of putting 100 in each of these, I put X, and all you have to do is put the argument right here inside of inside your parentheses. So that's what that parentheses is for. So I'm going to put X there, and then now when I call it, I'm going to specify 26, 45, and 100. So rather than drawing 3 identical squares and circles, it's going to draw 3 different squares with 3 different side lengths. All right, and then I could add another argument. You can always add multiple. So let's add a Y. And let's let y be the radius of the circle. So remember, inside of the circle function, this is just something you have to know. Inside the circle function, that is represents its radius. So let's put in y as that. So y is now whatever we specify y to be. That's what the radius of the circle is going to be. So we'd go down here and we'd put comma. Let's do a 23. All right, and then we'll do, and it really doesn't matter. I mean, these are just values. These are just kind of, fake values. Let's do 100. All right, so then this one would have a relatively small square with a pretty big circle. This one was going to have a little bit bigger square, but a tiny little circle. And this one's going to have a really big square and a really big circle. So just by adding arguments rather than specifying everything inside of our function, we were able to edit this function in 3 lines of code. So you can see how efficient functions can actually make your programs. All right, so remember, anytime you're thinking about writing or typing something twice, think about maybe putting it into a function. All right, so remember, never repeat yourself. That is a cardinal rule when it comes to programming. Never repeat yourself. If you're going to repeat yourself, put it inside of a function and then call that function twice. And just make this a practice that make this something that you want to master throughout the course, is creating functions and then using those to call. So whenever you go down here and you actually call your program, even though you're doing a lot, it only takes 3 lines of code to do all this rather than having to repeat all of this over and over. All right, so thank you guys so much. I hope this video helps with some of your questions about functions. I will see you in the next video. Thanks.